one official website visa application form. The validity of the visa, any children, your travel insurance, review your application, Visa, MasterCard, your payments is successful. Information mail. Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to another video. So you do not have visa on arrival facility in Vietnam for Indians. You need to apply for an e-visa, which usually comes within 3 working days. But then it's always advisable to apply for the visa at least 10 days in advance. Traveled to Vietnam recently. I got my visa within 2 working days. The steps to apply for Vietnam e-visa are very simple. There is only one official website that you need to go to apply for your e-visa. The details of the website are given in the description box. I have also mentioned it in the video here. The first step, you need to click on the e-visa section. In the e-visa section, select English as your preferred language. There are certain declarations, as you can see, according to the Vietnam law, and click on next. After that, you need to fill out your application form. In the application form, you need to upload a passport size photograph and the first page of your passport, as you can see in the screen. So please keep a copy of your passport size photograph and your passport first page handy to upload it onto the website. After that, there's certain information that you need to fill up, like your surname, your first name, your date of birth, nationality. Only things that are marked in red are mandatory. If you're traveling to Vietnam for the first time, then just mention your email ID, religion and place of birth. Answer to the 3 questions, the majority of the people is a no. In my case, answer to the first question was a yes, because I had gone to Vietnam earlier with my old passport. So I did mention my old passport details and details about when I had visited Vietnam last. In case you have an old passport, you visited Vietnam in the past, then you can just say yes and mention the details accordingly. For the other 2, you can just click on no and move forward. Next step is the requisite information for your visa. Here you need to be a little careful. If you're just traveling to Vietnam and then coming back to your home country, or going to some other country and not coming back to Vietnam, then you need to choose a single entry. If you intend to travel to Vietnam, travel to some other country and then come back to Vietnam, let's say to take a flight to some other country or to your home country, then you need to select multiple entry. The validity of the visa, you need to, in case of a single entry, mention the date on which you are flying into Vietnam, or let's say if you're traveling by one of the ports, and your date of exit of Vietnam. So you need to mention those 2 dates. You need to mention your passport number. The place of issue is not mandatory, but you can mention it. Type, usually for most of us it's an ordinary passport. Fill that up here, and then you need to fill up the date and the expiry of your passport. The next step is to fill up your contact information. So fill up your permanent address. If your permanent address and the contact address are the same, you can mention the same there. Your telephone number, your emergency contact back home. The other details like occupation and all, it's not mandatory. So if you want to fill up those details, you can do that. Otherwise, you can just skip that section. And then we come to the 6th part of your information form, which is the information about the trip. Now select the purpose of entry. Now in my case it was tourism, so I selected tourism. Your date, if you're taking a flight, then the date on which your flight is landing in Vietnam, just mention that. The number of days that you're going to be staying in Vietnam, mention that further. Well, if you have a phone number in Vietnam, if you booked a hotel and AIRBNB or somebody is hosting you, then mention that person's phone number here. The hotel/AIRBNB or hostel, whichever kind of accommodation that you've booked, get the address of that place and accordingly mention your residential address details here. I had a bit of a confusion regarding the ward or the commune. I checked with my AIRBNB host, and that person was able to help me out with this. If you're staying in a hotel, then you can just call up your reception or just email your hotel and they can help you out with the ward or the commune for your respective district. Now in the intended border gate of entry, most people go there by flight, so you can just mention the airport in which you're landing, or in case you're going by road, then you can just mention that port of entry here. And in your intended gate of exit, again, if you're going out through a particular airport, then you can just mention that airport. Similarly, if you're going by road, mention that port of exit. Then there are answers to 3 simple questions. You can just go through these questions and answer accordingly, whatever applies to you. If there are any children under the age of 14 who are traveling with you, you need to mention the details of that here. Now the next point to fill up is your trip expenses, your travel insurance, etc. This is not mandatory, but I would strongly advise you to buy travel insurance. It doesn't cost too much and it gives you peace of mind, because at the end of the day you're traveling overseas, so it's always recommended that you buy travel insurance. So just fill out these details, Just mark that you've read everything and whatever information that you disclose is true to the best of your knowledge, and click on next. The next page takes you to review your application. After this, then you review your application, enter the security code and click on next. You will come across a screen which says notice, and there are certain details that will be mentioned. Just verify these details and click on confirm. After this, you will be taken to the next page, which is payment. Now, in case of a single entry, I pay $25. In case of a multiple entry, it is $50. So click on I agree to pay and click on the payment button. Now you can pay through Amex, Visa, MasterCard. I had paid through a Visa credit card. Accordingly, use any of these credit cards. Just before you make the payment, you will encounter this kind of a screen. And then finally, once you've made the payment, you will come across this screen which says your payment is successful. You will also receive an email regarding confirmation of your payment and a confirmation mail saying that you've applied for an e-visa to Vietnam. That's it, guys. It's as simple as that. Just go ahead and apply for your visa and go and have a good time in Vietnam. And if you've seen the video so far, then don't forget to like and subscribe. And there are some very exciting videos on Vietnam and Laos coming up. So do stay tuned and do subscribe.